Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome. So glad you could join me. Today, we're going to dive into a story from the Quran that is it's timeless. It's the famous showdown between the Prophet Musa, or Moses, and the magicians of Pharaoh. But it's so much more than that. It's really a masterclass in how propaganda works and what happens. What happens when a carefully built lie smacks right into a truth that you just can't deny. And this line, right here, it just nails it. This whole story isn't about who has the loudest voice or who can put on the flashiest show. Nope, it's about a quiet, powerful, undeniable truth that comes in and just completely dismantles a very loud, very public lie. And this is the huge transformation we're going to watch unfold. You see, the whole thing starts as this big, state-sponsored performance. It's pure political theater designed to discredit a prophet. But it backfires spectacularly and becomes this deeply profound moment of faith. The stage itself collapses and turns into a place of worship. It's incredible. Okay, so let's start at the beginning with Pharaoh's grand plan. After his first run-in with Musa, he's rattled. And he's not looking for a genuine debate, not at all. This is pure damage control. He needs to get a grip on the public narrative. And his plan is to do it with a huge, dazzling spectacle. The Quran uses a very specific, very sharp word for Pharaoh's strategy, kaid. Now, this isn't just any old plan. It's calculated deception. It's the art of manufacturing an illusion of reality. You use optics, you use intimidation, you use coordination, all to control what people see and believe. It's a strategy as old as tyranny itself. So how does Pharaoh actually build this kaid, this grand deception? Well, he's got a playbook. First, optics. You make it a huge public festival day. Get everyone out to watch. Second, coordination. The magicians are told to come forward in perfect ranks, to project this image of overwhelming unity and strength. Third, intimidation. The goal isn't truth, it's domination. It's about overcoming the opponent. And finally, you stir up some cultural panic. You frame Musa as a threat to their heritage, their best traditions. But then look at Musa's first move. It's brilliant. He doesn't even look at Pharaoh. He doesn't address the massive crowd. He speaks directly to the performers, the magicians. And what does he say? It's not a threat. It's a warning, an offer of mercy, really. He's giving them an exit ramp before the show even starts, reminding them that the real problem here isn't their magic, it's that they're about to invent a lie against God. And you know what? It works. It actually starts to work. Musa's simple, direct warning is enough to shatter their unified front. The Quran says they immediately start whispering and arguing amongst themselves. It's such a powerful lesson, isn't it? A lie needs constant coordination and effort to hold it together. But the truth just stands on its own. All right, so now we get to the main event, the moment of confrontation. This is where all of Pharaoh's careful choreography, all his planning and spin comes face to face with something that he absolutely cannot control or manipulate, reality itself. Now, what's so fascinating here is the precise language the Quran uses. It's very intentional. When the magicians throw down their ropes and staffs, the text says it seemed to him, it appeared as if they were moving. See, magic is about manipulating perception. It's smoke and mirrors. But Musa's miracle, that's something else entirely. It doesn't just create an illusion. It fundamentally alters reality. It literally swallows the illusion whole. But wait, before that miracle happens, there's this incredibly raw human moment. As Musa is standing there watching this overwhelming display of magic, the text says he feels a flash of fear inside him. And this is so important because it reminds us that being a prophet doesn't mean you're not human. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting on your faith even when you feel that fear. And the divine reassurance comes immediately. God tells Musa, do not fear. Indeed, it is you who are superior. Now, this isn't about personal ego, like you're better than them. It's a statement about the nature of reality. Truth is inherently, fundamentally superior to falsehood, no matter how impressive the lie looks. So here's the crucial point. Musa is told to throw his staff, and it will swallow up what they have made. There's no back and forth, no epic struggle between them. It's not a competition, it's a cancellation. The moment a real thing enters the scene, the entire manufactured illusion just collapses. It vanishes. So, the illusion is gone. What happens next? Well, now we arrive at the absolute hinge point of the entire story. The consequence of that collision between magic and miracle is something that nobody in that crowd, and especially not Pharaoh, could have ever seen coming. It is a spiritual earthquake. In one single moment, everything changes. The performers break character, the stage collapses, and the entire purpose of the event gets turned completely on its head. And just like that, the very tools of Pharaoh's propaganda become his single biggest problem. The magicians fall to the ground, prostrating. Without a second of hesitation, they declare their faith out loud. The state's own experts, the ones hired to debunk Musa, become the very first people to believe in him. So you have to ask yourself, why did they convert so fast? Because they were the pros. They were the experts in this field. Their entire lives were spent creating illusions, faking reality. So more than anyone else in that massive crowd, they knew what was possible with a trick and what wasn't. When they saw Musa's staff do what it did, they knew with absolute certainty this was no trick. This was the real deal. And you don't argue with reality. You submit to it. So, what happens when a tyrant's propaganda fails that spectacularly? When the whole narrative just disintegrates in front of everyone? Well, there's nothing left to hide behind. All that's left is the true face of tyranny. Raw, brutal force, pure rage, and violence. Pharaoh's meltdown follows the classic tyrant's playbook to a T. First, he tries to reassert his authority by denying their legitimacy. You believed before I gave you permission? Then, step 2, he launches a smear campaign, this ridiculous conspiracy theory that Musa was their secret teacher all along. And when that doesn't work, he defaults to the only tool he has left, horrific, brutal threats of torture and death. But the magician's response? Wow. It is just breathtaking. They don't even flinch. They don't beg for their lives. They look the most powerful man in the world right in the eye, and they tell him, essentially, your power is temporary. In that one moment of genuine faith, they gained a perspective that made his threats totally powerless. They can now see the difference between his worldly decree and an eternal reality. And their faith is just so clear-eyed. It's so lucid. They don't play the victim card. They openly name the coercion they were under. They acknowledge their past guilt. They claim repentance, and they put all their trust in forgiveness. That is what true repentance looks like. It's about taking responsibility and then trusting in God's mercy. So when you boil it all down, you had two groups of people who watched the exact same event, but they saw two totally different things. The crowd, they saw a show, a contest of power where one side had a better trick. But the magicians, the experts in the room, they saw something far deeper. They didn't see a contest. They saw the total collapse of an illusion the moment reality showed up. And this leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. When does a tyrant, or any system of power, truly lose control? It wasn't when Musa brought a bigger army or a better weapon. Pharaoh lost control the exact moment an undeniable truth entered the room and the myth he had built around himself completely shattered. He lost the game the instant his own experts chose reality over his performance.